Started to work on closing in the wheel wells. Looked terrible before. Maybe show you what the other side looked like. Still kind of hard to tell because this one's already started. But you can see the big difference in the width of the Aventador rear end as opposed to the Boxster chassis. So I had to put the sheet metal, as you can see. So then I pop riveted in there, and then also on both sides of it put fiberglass resin in the mat. Cover all this up because I don't want to get the dripping everywhere. So got to put one more piece down here of sheet metal because I want to deflect it. I don't want it to go up inside there because a lot of air going into there would not be good. Big pressure up here on the back of the lights with that wing coming flying in there. There is going to be grills here, and you can see inside there. So I started glazing both, so it's both sides of the metal I put in there. Also, I put the rear diffuser on there. It's my first fit after I had to cut it up into 3 pieces and modify it to make it fit on this car. But it fits pretty good. It needs trimmed here. You can see it's a little too long, right? So I got to trim that. It has all the reinforcements in there and all the attaching points with to hold it on there. Only thing in the front here of the diffuser, and you can need attached down there because you don't want to drive down a road in the air, grab a hold of that front lip and rip it off. But you can see the rear exhaust pipe was covered with a header wrap, even though it's not a header. It's all that heat there. So this side's the one that's done, passenger side, with the, it's hard to tell with the light. It's pretty good boxed in there, and then I used the rubberized undercoating. So the other thing, I changed the coil over. I'm going to change the rear tail arm to adjustable one. That's that link right there. And this other arm over here, I'm going to replace that. Upper control arm, it's called. I might wrap some that silver pipe right there. I might wrap some header wrap around there, as you can see. I changed the exhaust system so it's bigger diameter than the stock Boxster. So the pipe's coming closer, to things now because it's bigger diameter. You can see that rubber boot there for the CV joint axle. I might just wrap some header wrap around there just because I don't want it to get too hot there and melt that boot. Still working on inner doors. Decided last night enough is enough. It's just too hard trying to do this with it on the car. So I'm going to take the door off. I dread taking the doors off. It's only 2 big bolts, but to get the alignment back on there, the way it works is when you put that door on there, you put it on alignment and everything, and then you put the door strut in there, and there's so much pressure on that strut that it throws alignment all off. So basically you have to tighten the door in position with it not lined up right, with it like way pushed in out of alignment, and then when you put the strut on there, it straightens the door out with the pressure that it puts on the door because it pushes us a little bit. But yeah, it's just too hard to try to do the inner door panels on there. Can't see it from the shot anyways. But then the other thing, gonna work on the front. So this radiator is in the stock position of where it was on the original Boxster. I didn't move it, but I used a lot of reinforcements for the body on there, right? I'm still not sure what size. I would really like to put 19s on the front. I've seen another Boxster with 19 with a regular, the regular Boxster chassis and everything, but mine is a lot wider now, and then the height, I think my wheel well's bigger too, so I shouldn't have a problem with that as long as I get the right offset, that I shouldn't hit anything. But I'm gonna close all this in. But the thing about this is it's the front, and it has so many lines and everything. I can't make it permanent like the rear. Like the rear, I made it more of a structural thing because it's tightening up the quarter panel into the chassis. And I don't need to get in there for anything. So that's why I pop rivet everything permanently. I mean, you could get back in there too, but you can see inside there. So that's the vent to the side from the engine to the engine. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do on, if I'm going to put some grill holes in the back there to let some air through there into the wheel well, because if it's all being forced into that engine, that might be too much for the engine to take all the air being forced in there like that. Ramming the air in there. I don't know yet. We'll see, but there's going to be a grill there, right? So the front, these are the front, wheel wells for the stock Boxster. I kept them. So I probably got to modify them a little bit because the car is a lot wider. So they're only going to cover all this up. So I'll see about that. The other big issue I got to figure out and work on is my fuel filler. The fuel tank's in the front on this car. So I'm going to have to put a hole here like the Porsche 911. It has the fuel filler right here. And that's the only way I can do it. But I might have to take that out of there. That's the silver pipe there. I might have to take that out of there and cut it and then put some rubber hose to get the right angle on that. Even though it is a little bit loose, there's a little bit of leeway with it. But I worry about the wheel hitting that thing. So I have to really figure out how I'm going to reposition that. And then there's all the other smog stuff for venting and all that for the fuel, I guess. Same thing on this side. It's gonna have to be all closed in on the bottom and the front here, but I'm gonna make some sheet metal plates out of that, and because those are gonna be able to be taken off and on the car, just like regular cars have those. I'm trying to think the ones I took off the car. I know the ones I took off the car I still have that go under the main chassis, but I can't remember if the front had anything underneath here on the Boxster. I know it had these big rubber things that would redirect the air into this radiator. So I'm going to try to put those back on there, but I might have to modify them a little bit. So tonight, I'll finish out this piece here. And then I'll spray it all with undercoating. You can see I kind of popped this out a little bit like that. I might push it back in a little bit, but it needs room to mount that side marker light in there. But it's really heavy duty. This stuff is solid. It needs trimmed up, right? The other side looks the same as this, if not worse. I think I got a little bit better on the second try. But and also there's a piece that goes right here, a little plastic piece. I guess it redirects the air also. Same thing on this side. I gotta cut this a little bit. It's a little bit too long, and then probably gonna have to do some body work there, not me, because that's too big of a gap on the end there. But other thing is got a lift. So it's not like my old one. The old one, the hassle had big pillars, right here. So every time I worked on a car, it's a hassle to work in the middle of the car and be talking with these big pillars here. It's just way too big, heavy duty. This thing, obviously, you can't crawl underneath there and do much because the thing's in the center. But you could deal with engine job in that because it's in the back, it's mid-engine and the transmission and all that. I could do that. Just you got to be careful. I don't know about how it would go about the weight, right? When you pull the engine out here, it's gonna be a lot lighter back here. But the thing, this thing's 6,000 pound limit, and I'm only roughly 3,000 pounds, so I'm never gonna hit it, the max. It's pretty simple little thing, bottom line. And then this little lever here is it's like a bicycle thing for brakes, but it's actually the lock. The lock, because it's so unlock it so it can come down. But even once you take the lock off and you push this lever down, it goes down really slow. The chance that this thing ever collapsing fast, I think if something broke, yeah, but it's pretty strong. So here's the interior still. Trying to keep it as clean as I can, but you can see it. Dust is everywhere. Just can't help it. It has airbags. Has it has the shifters on the steering wheel. The Tiptronic. It's an automatic, but you can drive it like a stick shift, right? No clutch. So that's the big thing I liked about it. It has pulled the stereo out. They're going to put a different stereo in there. You can see the other inner door panel over there. Started to work on that. It's all reinforced. Just so the inner door panel that I put on there, door cards, whatever people call them, you'll have something to attach to. Inside here, the roof, heavy duty structure back here. You're going to trim that square tubing and cut that off, square it off. There's a lot of cleanups. A lot of the areas are rough. It's locked here. It's got to be boxed in there a little bit better so you can't see the big lock like that, obviously, right? I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do that with some kind of plastic. But if you notice on the other Diablo, the Lamborghini Diablo, this latch is actually in the door. But on the Aventador, and then this little thing here, this little latch up there, is on the body's, the chassis of the car. So it's total opposite the way they mount it. It's kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know what the reason why they didn't want to mount that again in the door. They changed it, but I mean, it all works the same, right? What else? The lift definitely makes it a lot easier, and it actually will go all the way up to the ceiling. I think it's 5 feet is the max, 53 inches or something with 60 inches, 5 inches, so a little bit less than 5 feet. But sometimes I'll lower it down and sit on a chair, or other times if I want to stand up and work on it. But it should make me speed up the process here. Little kerosene heater. It gets cold in here sometimes. But here's the here's the sheet metal I bought. I always buy a lot of my tools at Harbor Freight. So the air cutter there, it works okay. So I've got to do a lot of by hand. These grinders, they're like $15. I seen one the other day at Harbor Freight for $9.99. You can't go wrong. Why would you ever buy a Makita or some expensive 60? I'll buy one of those other ones once a year for $10. Let it burn up. I burned up 2 of them so far. What's funny, in the last week I burned up 2. And one wasn't even being worked on a car. I was grinding some wood, filing some wood down on for a gate. For using for like an hour straight, and the thing got so hot, burned up. You can see in the rear of the Boxer, I got fuse panels back here in the rear, so I don't know if you can see that. But I'm gonna have to make sure this is all airtight. There's computers and everything back here, and obviously this is the hood, and it's gonna have glass in there, layered glass that air can vent out of there, so water can go in there technically. I have to figure out some kind of drainage system when you're washing the car, and then obviously I'm not going to drive in the rain. But I hope to get back on the taillights. I think I said that like in 2 or 3 different videos working on the taillights. I got sidetracked. Some things I like to do. But yeah, the diffuser was interesting. So the part right here in the center, it's going to be all mesh, black mesh in there. I think it looks pretty good. I'm thinking about doing the whole thing with some kind of carbon fiber vinyl wrap. I used it before on my other car. I mean, obviously it doesn't look exactly the same as carbon fiber, but it looks really close if you get a good one. So we'll see, I might do that. That's about it. Coming along. Probably a little bit slower than I should be, but hope to finish out the rear wheel wells and move on. Maybe the next thing I'll work on is boxing this in. So why I need to box all this in is because fumes and that might come up in here, right, from the exhaust system. It's all open now. It's all cut open and everything. I reinstalled the rear bumper from the Boxster, and it has two like shock struts, right? When you get bumped from behind, but it's still built in there, so the bumper's actually built in here. But I'm gonna close all that in with metal, and then fiberglass mats to make it all airtight, and that should be good. Exhaust was at 4 pipes, right? So I'm gonna work on something with that. I don't know if I'll go that far to try to make it perfect. It'll look better, I guess, but it will be fake. It only has 2 connected to it. That's it. 4-car garage, and takes up like a lot of it. Too much stuff, I guess. See you.